Hello and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Well, now people, good morning. It's still dark, but as the days go on, it will become daylight sooner and sooner until we get to June 21st, I believe, 22nd, 21st, and then it'll get shorter and shorter. Okay, that's how that works. Anyway, today we have a taste challenge. And I really do think it's going to be a challenge. It's Ancient Age Preferred blended whiskey versus Heaven Hill, Kentucky blended whiskey. All right. Now, when did they come out? When did they hit the market? I don't know. I couldn't find out any information, okay? I really could not find out, and I tried. They don't talk about these on their website. The only thing you'll find on the Heaven Hill website is a little thing in there. It's got product specifications, and it'll tell you what bottle sizes. That's it. Duke the Shadow Slayer says, good morning. Good morning to you. So that's all you're going to find out. Okay? And then it'll tell you a little bit on the back. They use sour mash whiskey. It's aged 3 years. And it's their Heaven Hill's #1 Kentucky blended whiskey. Okay, so this is their top selling blended whiskey. And they got a lot. If you look at their website, they've got, I mean, they must have at least a dozen, and it might be 2 dozen. And then Sazerac must be 3 or 4 dozen. 3 dozen. I mean, they got a lot. Well, I'm saying 36 that they show, right? Now, there might be 50 more they don't show because, like, here's one, for instance, Ancient Age. Get on the Sazerac website. As far as that tells you, it does not exist. But it obviously does because I'm holding it in my hand, right? Okay. This is the black label with the red and gold. And I guess that's parchment colored or off-white. Now, if you get the Ancient Age bourbon, it's a parchment colored with the same colors. It's like reversed, okay? Now they're saying, and these are about the same price, although I did see this Heaven Hill in St. James Parish 2 days ago for $6.49 a bottle. Couldn't believe that price. But usually they're around $7.99 a bottle. Okay, let's say $8 a bottle, but maybe cheaper if you can find them on sale. And around here, they're sold in the big handle bottles, big plastic 1,750 milliliter bottles, glass bottles here. And the Heaven Hill around here, Louisiana, you can find it in like the 375s, the 200s, the 100s, and like all these different plastic flasks, glass flasks. This one, I haven't seen it until recently. I guess it just started showing up, Ancient Age. Probably what happened was Sazerac watched some videos I made, and I was talking about it, and they realized they needed to make the move and bring it in. So I appreciate y'all doing that from watching my videos. This one has a textured label. It's flat, but then the letters are textured. You can feel it. Like if you couldn't see for some reason, you could feel Ancient Age Preferred. Heaven Hill, it's the same thing. It's textured. And even the little crest. Oh, well. Now, this one, Ancient Age, says, carefully blended according to the finest old traditions. What are they? I don't know. They don't say. They're both 80 proof. And it says, we love to hear from our customers. Now, I had some people tell me, oh, I can't get this. Well, you don't know that, actually, because I said that I can't get it, but I got it, right? So I would recommend you call the number. You call the number, they'll tell you. I mean, they'll tell you what stores have it. They don't mind. It's I mean, you can send an email, bourbonwhiskey.com, www.bourbonwhiskey.com, email. I'm going to look that up because I'm thinking Great Bourbons. They might have another website. Okay, got to check that out. But here's the number, 1-866-729-3722. Call them up. They'll tell you who's got it. You might have it close to you and just didn't realize it. Because some people wanted to do examinations with me on it. You might be shocked. Same thing with this. John Anile was saying, I wish I could find this. I said, well, you might. I'm telling you right now, if you're watching, you might find it. Okay, so this is from Bardstown, Kentucky, the Heaven Hill Distillery in Bardstown, okay? This is from Kentucky. This is from Frankfort. So right there, Frankfort, Kentucky. Oh, well, you know, oh, right here. Blended and bottled by Ancient Age Distillery in Frankfort, Kentucky. Well, you know what? I went to Frankfort, Kentucky, and I took a distillery tour, and it was Buffalo Trace Distillery. I didn't see Ancient Age Distillery over there. Oh, well, you know what? That is Buffalo Trace. This is one of those assumed names, those alias names that the government allows, the U.S. government allows that. You can have that. And I think that's what they call it, an assumed name or an alias name, or there's some other term they use. But it's not illegal and it's not deceptive. Well, it might be deceptive. But that's why when people tried to sue Coors, Miller Coors, because they said they thought Blue Moon was a craft beer, and they thought Blue Moon was a real company because it says Blue Moon Brewing. Nope, sorry, you can't win because that's allowed under the law. The law is going to say you could have taken time to go look that up, and you could have easily found that out. Or you could have simply made a phone call. So that's not a tort. You can't win a settlement behind that. Okay. And when I went to the Buffalo Trace Distillery tour, we went in this huge barrel house. I mean, huge. I thought the one in Bardstown was big with 22,000 barrels. Well, it was huge. The one at Buffalo Trace was really huge, and it was one of the many they have. They were like, oh, we have a lot. This is just one we take people in. And you could smell all that whiskey because sometimes the barrels will leak a little bit. And the guy said, we got a lot of Ancient Age in here. And he was patting the barrels. He said, we sell a lot of that stuff. He said, I like it myself, Ancient Age. And then he was talking about Blanton's and Buffalo Trace and Eagle Rare and all of this stuff. Okay, so they have all this stuff over there. I got to look up that website. It's probably going to reroute me. It might be an old link, bourbonwhiskey.com. But sometimes Sazerac, you find out they got multiple websites with different things. So let's get going. Am I going to be able to tell them apart? I doubt it because honestly, I don't really have a lot of experience with Ancient Age except when I tasted it with, you know, the guy David Garlapede who does reviews with me quite often. And that's the only time I tried it. And then he off camera, he compared it to the Ancient Age bourbon. He preferred the preferred over the bourbon, which I found shocking. I said, you prefer this over the bourbon? Yeah. He said, yeah. I said, okay. Okay. I assume they're probably using Ancient Age bourbon in as their base. And they're probably getting the grain neutral spirits straight from old Indiana Midwest Grain Products, the old Seagram's distillery over there, because they were telling me that's where they got their base grain whiskey, their grain neutral spirits. It's just that company produces so much of it, it's just cheaper to buy it from them. And then somebody was telling me, oh, all that stuff you're drinking, all that is whiskey flavored vodka. Well, you know, perhaps, but it is a class of whiskey according to the United States Tax and Trade Bureaus, and it has been for over 100 years. So This is a class of whiskey, blended whiskey. Is it a good class? Well, that depends on who's drinking it, right? They got people that say blended scotch. That's a joke. That's not real scotch. That's flim flam stuff. I don't mess with that. I drink single malt. Same thing with Irish whiskey. I don't mess with that flim flam stuff, that blended or the Canadian blended. I understand that, and that's fine. But, you know, a lot of people aren't going to pay $60, $70 a bottle all the time, and they don't really have the funds to facilitate that kind of purchasing routine. So, all right, so you have millions of people who, on a day-to-day basis, they buy the blended whiskeys because they're more within their price range, and maybe they like it, right? So it doesn't make them bad people because they like it. Just like people that drink Busch beer or Schlitz, it doesn't make them bad people because they prefer that over like maybe more expensive beers. It's just, it's what people like. Okay, all right, or what they'll settle for, if you want to use that term. They make a, all right. The appearance is the same, light amber, gold, you know, not anything too elaborate there. Look like light whiskey. I mean, I wish I had a bottle of Jameson I could pour it in there and compare, because I think the Jameson's even lighter. Is there going to be a winner here? Probably not. They're pretty similar from my recollection. Will I be able to tell them apart? Maybe, because the Heaven Hill is sour mash whiskey. They use sour mash whiskey right in. Remember I was saying in the last one, I was saying I could kind of pick up on that sourdough bread. But then, you know, if Ancient Age Preferred is using Ancient Age bourbon, which is a sour mash bourbon, straight bourbon, could be hard. And it's funny because the Ancient Age Preferred is about the same price as the straight bourbon. It's only $1 more for the straight bourbon, $1 more, you know, per bottle. So, I mean, I guess most people would pay the extra dollar. I mean, that's assuming they prefer bourbon over blended, and some people certainly do not. Another friend of mine, David, a different David, he doesn't like bourbon. He always prefers Canadian blended whiskey now. Does that make him evil, bad, stupid, dumb, ill-informed, ignorant? No, that's what he likes. You know, I always tell people, just drink what you like. Don't drink what you think people think you should drink, or to like seek approval or whatever. That's silliness. Oh, well, here we go. I drank some Boddington's Pub Ale yesterday afternoon. It was so good. Some people would not approve of that. They would say, oh, that is a macro ale from England. And how could you drink that? I mean, really, I have to roll my eyes at you. Oh, well, go ahead, roll away. I got them well mixed, so I can't tell them apart, that's for sure. And I have no intention to cheat, and why would I cheat? It's very mild in the aroma, right? Like Dancing Dog 60 says, I love Boddington. Me too. Guess we're both dirt. Downtown dirt. Or maybe we just like it. Okay. It's a mild alcohol burn, mild mint, mild everything, mild, mild, mild. Some people would say dull. I'll say mild. Now this one, uh-oh, got it on my nose. It's a little more sourdough bread, honestly. So already at this very early moment, I think that the one to my right, maybe your left, you know, it can get flipped around on these webcam things, but I think this might be the Heaven Hill. Okay, all right, okay. I'm certainly not displeased with either one, considering what I paid. I think it was on, I think it was $7.99 when I bought that Heaven Hill 2 years ago. It's gone up in price, but I think it's $8.99 now. But I think I bought it at Matherns for $7.99. But I've seen it around for $6.99. But I believe that's over with those days. Sourdough. So they're both pleasant, you know, considering you can get them less than $10 a bottle. I got that Redemption Rye for $23.99, but I'm not too sure that high rye. No, I'm not really sure it's better than these. It's just different. The thing's only aged a year. That's the most peculiar bourbon. A 1 year aged bourbon? What is this? Well, I got to do some heavy taste challenges with that, and I got a lot left to do. I got a lot of it left. Yeah, this is more minty, right? My mother used to grow mint in the backyard, and I would crush a flower in my hand, not a flower, a leaf in my hand, and I would smell it. And it smells kind of like that. There is no mint used in this particular whiskey, I might say. Now, in the taste, I think the Ancient Age might have a little more of a pepper note, because Sazerac, they tend to use a lot of rye relative to other companies, so that might tip it off. But let's go taste time here at 5:47 a.m. Duke says, I don't like malt liquor. I had a Mickey's the other day, and it gave me the worst headache. Rolling Rock's beer is better. Oh, you know what? I might do a double down with Rolling Rock today. I bought a 12-pack of bottles, and I have some things to say about that. I think I was misinterpreting what I was tasting and calling it papery. But I think I wasn't understanding that beer properly. I think it's got more complexity and quality than I thought. It's the hops, I think they're using that are throwing me for a loop. I did some taste challenges with Rolling Rock in the bottle, but that's a waste of time because it's too distinct. Like, there's no challenge. You can put it up against Milwaukee's Best. You can put it up against Stag, Budweiser, Miller High Life, Coors. But it's not going to taste like them. You're never going to be challenged because Rolling Rock is too distinct. So what's the challenge? There's no purpose. I'm not going to make a bunch of videos that have no purpose. Now, whether it's better than them, that's up to you to decide. Okay, over here, we have a light wood flavor, more of a toothpick than a charred oak, but it does have that charred oak, but it's light. And sweetness, caramel, light, light syrup, sugar water. Sugar water. And maybe some peppery rye spice. So I think that's Ancient Age. Let's go, but I'm not sure. I'm not calling it yet. Yeah, you see this. This has more of that sourdough bagel. It's not profound in the taste. It's not pronounced, but it's an underlying flavor. Now there's a little mint. They both have alcohol burn. They're 80 proof. What do you expect? I mean, you know, it's alcohol. Yeah. It's got dried flowers. You know, the guy that made the comment, I mean, I didn't mind that. It doesn't matter. But he said the whiskey flavored vodka, that's what these blended 80-20 blends are. Hey, but you know what? If they're whiskey flavored vodka, fine, but they taste good. So if I buy a bunch, bottles after bottle after bottle, and they're all the same price, $8, $9, and they all taste like whiskey flavored vodka, or if that's what they are, whiskey flavored vodka, but they taste good and they have a lot of different little levels of flavor. So what's the detriment? I mean, what's wrong with that? You know, I'm trying to figure out why that's bad. They're both very sweet. I mean, I find that whiskey has a very candy flavor. I don't care if it's straight bourbon or this, it just has a candy flavor to me, and that's good. I would never become an alcoholic off of whiskey because I don't like to eat too much candy in a 24-hour period. I like a little bit, and I mean a little. After I eat too much candy, it makes me start feeling sick, and I just can't stand the taste. Says the law of diminishing returns. You know, I like to eat 3 cookies. That's kind of like a pastry, but cookies, chocolate. And then that's it, 3 small. So whiskey, just to sit there and be drinking it all day, I would be turned off by it. Now, I had a friend who died at 49 years old drinking a bottle of Crown Royal every day. That's total insanity, right? But I mean, obviously that was a symptom of a problem, not the problem, right? Somebody that would do that obviously has some deep disturbed mental issues, psychological root. That's what the old, that's not too popular to say that today. You just have to say alcoholism is a disease and I can't help it. I'm always going to be a prisoner of this. But if you, I didn't have anywhere to store them, but those 1977 Funk and Wagnalls encyclopedias, they were saying that drug and alcohol addiction almost always has an underlying psychological base. In other words, the person has problems previous to the alcoholism, right? In other words, their disturbed mental processes or sort of like an invitation for the drug and alcohol abuse. In other words, there's a problem there and it's got a certain shape to it. And so the alcohol and drug abuse fits in that slot. And then they develop it. So in a way, if you're only treating, and I know that they're good treatments, if you're only treating the symptom, you're never going to solve the problem because you're not addressing the problem, the underlying mental health problem. Okay, but anyway, off of that. I can't handle malt liquor either, he says. It didn't end well. I ended up acting like a fool, so I'll stick to Busch. Well, that's a good idea. I think certain booze makes me act differently. Maybe it's just my imagination. No, I don't suppose it is. The only whiskey I really like is Jameson. Oh, my daughter loves that stuff. Ron, do you think Dancing Dog says, do you think Old Milwaukee and Schaefer, he means Schaefer, are discontinued? No, they're not discontinued. I just saw some Old Milwaukee the other day, and I bought some last month. So Schaefer, we still get Schaefer Light. No, they're not discontinued. The distribution is just very poor. All right, which one's better? Better. Oh, there's the Kansas City Southern. I don't know, man. This thing over here is starting to really evidence a strong rye component. I mean, it's starting to come into play. Now, it's funny about these whiskeys. You let them breathe and you swirl them around in the glass a little bit. They start to, they start to taste different. They start to present more than they originally presented. So it's strange. Okay, well, you see, this is going to be, well, that's why it's a challenge, right? Because it's challenging. Now, as far as which one's better, that's a wash. I mean, forget that. They're both fine. I mean, it's a tie. Heaven Hill does a great job. Those people make like super top shelf whiskey, and then they make, this. But they do a good job with both ends of it, of the price point. The high and the low and the middle the middle row. Great stuff. Heaven Hill, they got it down pat. Ancient Age, Sazerac, Buffalo Trace. Yeah, it looks like Buffalo Trace knows what they're doing. So same thing, high end or low end, they got it rolling. I don't mind Maker's Mark though. I've never had that, by the way. My dad used to like Seagram 7. Hey, it was the 70s. Hey, you know what? I like Seagram 7 Crown, and it's the 2000 teens. I've got a bottle in my cabinet. And you know what? It's still the #1 selling blended whiskey in America, Seagram 7. Yep, still the #1, still the #1. I think Kessler is #2, Kessler. We get it in little bitty drips and drabs down here. You can find Kessler in Louisiana, but it's a little bit of a challenge. It is available, however. But obviously in other states, maybe Illinois, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Ohio, it's very well known. Kessler might be just commonplace there. So I think Kessler is number 2 and Seagram 7 Crown is number 1. Is it really popular like it was in 1977? Well, no. Because in 1977, Seagram 7 was like pretty much the most popular whiskey in America, right? Okay. I'll never forget I used to chase it with 7-Up. Yeah, I mean, that used to be like Schlitz. That was like a big deal. I mean, that was like powerful. A powerful company. I mean, in 1977, if you were drinking Seagram 7, you were showing off. Yeah, I'm drinking some 7 and 7, you know. Have you reviewed the Budweiser Reserve? Oh, yes. I've got 2 videos for that. The release party video and the regular review. Oh, yes. You'll be happy. Okay, well, I already glanced at the bottom. I could see down there Heaven Hill. Sorry about that. But I did think it was Heaven Hill. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when I was drinking that, I started noticing more and more rye. Now, remember I said sourdough at first? But what did I say as this video went on? Now you say, oh, you could be cheating. I mean, I could be cheating every video, right? I could set it up where I'm cheating and you don't know, but I'm not. And if I got to cheat to do this, I'll just quit. I'll just delete the whole channel, really. What did I say? There's more and more rye spice coming out here. Now, the sourdough doesn't really make a difference because what? They're both using sourdough whiskey as their whiskey, so that doesn't matter. If they're using Ancient Age bourbon and they're using Heaven Hill sourdough bourbon, that won't matter. But if Sazerac Buffalo Trace always has a higher rye mash bill, then that's going to show. So it's sad though, because right when I glanced, I said to myself, oh no. I could have just pretended like I didn't see it, right? But I like to be honest. So I said, Heaven Hill. But I was just about to say, I think that's Ancient Age. But remember, early on in this challenge, I thought it was the opposite. But no, I do believe this is Ancient. I know it's Ancient Age now because it says on the tag. But yeah, it's Ancient Age because it's got, and it's something how you can start to learn a house style, right? You do these taste challenges enough, and you start to recognize the house style. And Buffalo Trace has a house style. And I didn't video record it, but I wish I had, because David Garlapede, who was trying both, he said, I can see that. I can see that. You know, because I said, you know, this is made at Buffalo Trace, the Ancient Age bourbon and blended. I said, it's made at Buffalo Trace in Frankfurt. And he said, I can see that. I can see that. It has that, because he's a big kind of Buffalo Trace, like regular drinker. So, and when we did the Blantons, when we drank Blantons, the first impression I had was, I said, David, this tastes like a elevated ancient Buffalo Trace. It tastes like Buffalo Trace with a higher quality to it. He said, yeah, right. Then he was saying, I got ripped off. I said, you didn't get ripped off. I mean, it's just higher quality. So instead of paying $29, you paid $59, you know, or $49 for it. But they just kind of like have a scale, like a sliding Buffalo Trace scale. And you go Blanton's at the top with the little horsey on the bottom cap. And then you go down, down, down the ladder to Ancient Age Preferred. But they all have similarities of flavor. Okay, well, I got to get off of this because I want to watch the news. I tried a Korean rice beer this week called Height. I've heard of it, but I've never had it. Very clean tasting lager. Too expensive to drink on a regular basis, though it's sold at import prices. Right, why not just drink Budweiser if you're going to drink a rice lager, right? Is Budweiser to the level of Hitachino Nest? No, but it is so much cheaper. Shadow Slayer said, whenever you drink, do you keep going until you're drunk, or do you prefer the buzz? I hate getting drunk, but I love the buzz. I just go until I'm finished with these 2 little minuscule sized glasses. I mean, that's it. They're gone. I'm not going to go get off. I'm not going to get off the camera and then go pour more. That's it. These little bitty glasses. That's it. No more whiskey for today. That's okay, because then I'll be looking forward to tomorrow morning when I do another taste challenge. So you don't want to ruin the fun, right? Too much of anything, and then it gets humdrum. It gets humdrum. All right, so the news is on. I got it right, even though I did glance down and see that. But like I said, I could have just pretended that I didn't see it, right? That would have been more of a lie than just telling you the truth. Okay, so thanks for watching this video production. On with the news. Have a nice, safe, and enjoyable Saturday at the end of December 2017. Ta-da!